Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This will just be a quick little video. I've got a couple of things to show you. I'm just doing about my 65,341,000th carby. Feels like that anyway. It's been a long day. And I just sort of saw a couple of things again. These happen, you know, I see something, I think, oh, I better say something about that while I'm at it. So when you're going to take these throttle spindles, don't get done properly when carbies are being reconditioned because people are scared of taking them out, and rightfully so too. They can be a proper little bastard, pardon the French. You've got to Dremel the backs off the screws, and then you have to make sure that they're completely free of any burrs right down to the back of the shaft, which is a bit tedious. You Dremel it or file it, and then you have to, well, what I do anyway is I apply some heat to the screws. I put a hammer handle up through the vise and drop the carby throat down on that so the back of the shaft is supported. Heat the screws, give them a couple of light taps with a little screwdriver the right size, and generally speaking they will come out. Every once in a while we have to drill them and we lose a shaft, which has happened once on this bunch of six pairs of carbies already. So what am I showing you? Well, when you put the shaft back, it has to go back in. There's an O-ring on here that must be replaced when the shaft wears out. You have to strip it. This has to come off, this throttle bracket, to let it out. And what I'm telling you now is that to put the throttle butterfly back into that shaft, it doesn't attach to the shaft, it passes through the shaft, and the holes in the butterfly are actually much bigger than the screw holes, so you've got some wriggle room. Also, try and show you this. There you go. There's a chamfer on the butterfly. The butterfly is not round, it's oval shaped, and it's designed to fit. When it closes, it's sort of more this way. So it's more back, the top edge back, I think. No, forward, sorry. It's forward at the front and backward like that, so it opens this way. It opens, no, just knock that this way. So the chamfer is to allow it to go in at an angle and seal right around. That's why it's oval shaped. So before you try to reinsert the butterfly into the shaft, get your tapers the right way, put your shaft in, lubricate the O-ring with a little bit of Lanatec or even silicone grease. I prefer Lanatec. Put the bracket back on so that it locates the shaft before you put it in. When it's set properly, you should be able to close that shaft easily. And open it without the butterfly scraping on the throttle body, and you should be able to hold it up to a light and have a look at the back of it, and you will see a very, very small rim of light around there, but it shouldn't have light peering through it. It should close equally all around inside the throat. That's number one. Number two, this is the choke disc. Now I will try and get that into focus. There, can you see that little dot on the right hand side of the end of the shaft? That has to go facing that nose. When you put it on whichever housing you put, the dot in the end of that shaft must be lined up with that nose. I tried to explain that to somebody the other day, and I think he thought that I had taken leave of my senses, but it must be that way. And if it's not, it will cause you grief. And here's the other thing that will cause you grief. Who can see in there? There's an R stamped in the end of that choke disc, right? This is a right-hand carby. This is a right-hand choke. If you put the left-hand choke in a right-hand carby, it will give you grief. If you put any choke in with the dot not facing that nose, that will give you grief. So take particular care with that. Now, this is a pair of carbies that's obviously been apart before, and the person who's done them has pulled them completely to pieces and then shuffled everything just to make it interesting. So that was an interesting exercise. Now, there's another thing that people don't often know. If you look in the bottom of this, slide, you can see there's a B, and when you go around here a bit more, I've got to finish cleaning this yet, there is a 1 somewhere. 2, sorry, where is the blooming thing? it's I just can't pick it up with the camera, but there it is there, the two. See the two? To the right hand side of the B, that's still got a little bit of dirt and crap on it. I have to clean that a bit more yet. They are handed. B1 is left, B2 is right. This one was swapped around, so make sure when you're pulling your carbies apart, first of all, get something like a $4 box from the big Swedish place that I just can't think of at the moment. Oh, it's been a long day. Or something. Put them in two separate boxes and strip each carbie completely into that box. Keep it in that box until you put it back together again. Work on them separately, not together. And make sure that you have the stamped R or L for the R or L carbie. You can pick it easily because if you hold the part where the butterfly goes to the front and the choke's on the inside, that's where it goes. That's a right hand side carburetor. It's very easy to do. The other thing I wanted to show you is when we take engines apart, we do a number of checks. We plastic gauge the crankshafts and stuff like that. This is having a full rebuild, and you know, there are some times when you can sort of take a chance with these things. You do a crush test on the big end of the conrod, and there is a well-known method of checking the pop-up over here, or the crush in the bearings. On full rebuilds like these, I get them resized. So this conrod has been resized. It's been end for end balanced, so it's been balanced both ends. It's had a new little end bush put in it, and it's been magnafluxed. That's where they pass a magnetic current through with a special powder, and if there's any cracks anywhere in the thing, that powder will be drawn into the crack and show it up. Make sure you keep the conrods, I mark them, make sure you keep the conrods on the right sides, and be aware that when you're putting them back together, the dowel pin goes to the front, faces the front of the engine. Just telling you a few little things in case someone's out there stuck in the mire building an engine. These go back together. They cost quite a bit to do that properly, about $350 or $60 I think. But if you're building an engine that's spending at 7,000 odd revs and it's 30 or 40 years old, probably a good plan to make sure that everything that's hanging together down in the bottom end is up to the speed. Anyway, that's all I've got to show you. Just stay well, ride safely until we meet again.